Hi, this is Varner in the Philippines. Well, we're sitting in Pastor Gilbert's house, and Bewley's house, and their family, and it just occurs to me, no, honey, it's okay, they can talk, okay? So life is going on. We're not shouldn't be trying to get everybody to change just because we're doing something like a video, which is really not that important when you compare to real life going on here in this little community. So we are hoping that things will be revealed for what they are. Now, that little girl, I've gone and forgotten her name. That's kind of what I do, is forget names. I sail around and I'm, let me see, what can I say? I'm actually shielded from knowing exactly what's going on because I don't speak the language. And I'm trying to change that, okay? Now, what we have is we have kids coming in and out all the time. There's Junior. Junior is Bewley and Pastor Gilbert's son. He's the youngest boy. Beautiful, charming little boy. And there's his friend, who is actually very shy, but can't wait to get on the camera. But she is actually very shy. So if I try to say hello, she won't do it. Why am I even talking about this? Well, because it seems to me that there is something to be learned here in these communities. Now, you will have seen the video of this house. It's very, very simple, very modest little house. All of the block still hasn't been rendered. The kids are playing on a relatively rough concrete floor, which is a great delight to them because for all of their life, for all of Junior's life, he's actually lived on a dirt floor. Now, what I observe with Filipino people is that they do have a secret, but it doesn't seem to be a secret to them because they have a way of getting through life, getting through the day without the aggravation that seems to be prevalent whenever you look at Western civilizations. When I went to live when I went to visit the UK after many, many years, I went a little over a year ago and I visited my son who is living in the UK, and I went to live in London. And this is what comes home to me after I see what is happening in other countries, in the Western countries, which the more that you are taken care of, the more that you have in terms of convenience, the more that you can do without money. In other words, you can operate with a card, the more that you are regulated. So with comfort, with convenience, with all of those things comes regulation. And one of the things, whether expats realize it when they come to live in the Philippines or why they come to live in the Philippines, the very thing that they complain about the most is probably the main reason why they're here. There's very little regulation. There's not a great deal of control. There's not a terrific amount of help. They don't get helped very much. So you can be on your own. You can go through some rough times if you're sick, as we've been seeing with some of the people that we've helped, and as we've been seeing with some of the videos that we've made of what it's like to go into a public hospital. And when you get regulation, you get, for my money, you get loss of freedom, loss of being carefree. Am I right? I'm right for me. That's all I say. And for everything that I always say, it's whether it works for you. And whether it works for you is the proof of the pudding, as somebody said about something that we did a video on a little while ago. Said the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So you have to come and you have to look at it for yourself. And it may be that getting in line at an ATM where 6, 7, 8, 10 people are there, and 4 or 5 of those people are drawing money on a card for another 4 or 5 people. Can you stand that? Can you stand all of the lines and queues when you go into a bank? Can you stand so many children around? I mean, look what I was saying here. So now suddenly the children come in. Seems like there's children everywhere. Now these children don't feel regulated. They don't feel regulated. They come in and out of people's houses as if it's their own. And I feel that that's wonderful. It might not fit with everybody, but you have to come and look at it for yourself. People ask me a lot of questions about, well, what's it like for this and what's it like for that? And I try to answer the questions, but the questions are always answered from my viewpoint. And if I don't mind kids and you hate them, or I hate kids and you love them, well, what are the answers worth? So it's one of those things, I think, that you have to take a leap of faith. You have to come out here and you have to come for a vacation. But don't go to Baraka and a white beach where you can look at bikinied or topless foreigner women and handsome buff foreigner guys. Don't go and look at that. Go and look at where you're going to live. Go and look and try to find people. Try to look at what they are doing, how they're living. Also, it probably is very likely that you will be in a situation where you will be helping others. And will that be so bad? Depending on you. Depending on whether you want to help. I don't know. You may be disgusted by what you see. You may be thinking, well, it's just not right. I try to adopt the attitude that I'm not here to educate anybody. So, do I think, like many expats, that complaining will do it? No, I just don't. Constant complaining, all that does is it makes you be a whiner. You're a whining expat. That's what happens. And forgive my observation. The expats that I've seen come and they shape their own personal life, their own personal environment to be as much like it was in wherever they came from as possible. Now, is that a good thing? It depends on you. If that's what you want to do, you can come here and you can do that, probably with the money that you have. You can do it, right? I got somebody, that little shy girl who wants to be on camera again. So, here's what I think I see. I see that expats come here, and the ones that find some magic in what they see are the happy ones. The ones that accept that there is a different culture and that Filipinos have a secret to share. Now, it's not one that they, as I said, that they think of as a secret, because they don't really. They've always had it. And that is the ability to be happy with very little. Now, an expat, a foreigner, will come over and say, well, yeah, they're satisfied with nothing. They've got no ambition. They've got this, they've got that. Is it true? It depends on your viewpoint. For me, I've been in many situations where I've had little. I spent 8.5 years in the army, and in the army, believe me, you have little. You have what's called a bed space, and that is a bed and a locker, and that's yours for as long as they let you. Now, I've been used to not having a great deal, so I can come and I can accept things as they are. And that, to me, seems to be the way to happiness and contentment in the Philippines. But as I say, you need to come out and have a look for yourself. It's not an easy transition, because sometimes you might just get fed up and say, oh my God, I'd just like to have a hot shower. A hot shower is just not something that you have in the Philippines. Nobody except foreigners have hot showers. It just doesn't happen. Even if you go to a hotel and you try to turn on the heater for the water, it probably won't work, because that's the way that it is. Are Filipinos ever going to change and become like Westerners? My God, I hope not. I hope that somewhere along the line that expats may learn that there is happiness to be had if they can learn to be more like Filipinos. Now this is very difficult. It's a big challenge for most expats, because they think very little of Filipinos and their way of life and their simple approach. They think very little of the fact that they tend to clump together. They borrow, which means that they give money to each other, and that seems to be part of the deal as well. So you have to be looking at whether all of this can be fitted in with you. Now, if it doesn't, this is what will probably happen. You'll spend most of your time bitching about how things are not like they were in the UK or in Germany or in the US, because they're not. You'll be right, they're not. The people won't be the same. No, they're not. Now, ask yourself this: how happy were the people that you knew in the land that you fled from? And how happy were you? And how happy are the people here, even though they have so little? And on that note, I'll stop this wandering about through the through this little house that I'm in right now. The children are here, everybody's playing, everybody's having fun, everybody's happy on their rough concrete floor and on very simple furniture and with very little money in their pocket.